So, there was no heat in this building.
No.
Was it a wooden building or a
No, it was
brick?
no wooden building. It was some kind of building. I don't know.
Cement?
It wasn't wood, cement. Some of them have like a big, I don't know what to say. It's not an oven. It's not a,
Like a fireplace?
no. But you could, I don't know others, but ours, where the family was, you could light a fire if you want to cook something, which that woman, the main woman of the house that took me in, because she had a daughter that she left in Bialystok, and she used to send her packages with, all kinds of things. So occasionally she would make something. But not everybody had it.
That the lady that was in charge of the house is the same lady from the train car, from the cattle car, that had the family, or is this a different lady? Is she the family that took you in on the train? Okay. And she left her daughter in Bialystok, and she was able to send...
She didn't leave it, they didn't take her.
They didn't take her. But she was able to send things back from the camp back there on the train?
Mm-hmm. No, not on the train.
How?
By mail somehow, I don't know.
So this is a working camp, is what you called it? Not a concentration camp. Nobody was going to be killed.
No,
What if you tried to leave? Did anybody try to leave?
no.
What if you refused to work?
You didn't.
I guess
What
if you tried to
happened
leave, there
was-
was nowhere to go, right?
Hmm?
You had nowhere to go if you left.
You couldn't get out of there because you were surrounded with water.
Well, what was the point of this camp? Why were you taken to the camp?
To work.
Because they needed people to work, or they just needed to...
Sure, they needed people to work, and they needed people to get the logs out that came in on the river. And there was a man, I felt so bad, a young man. See, there were three, I don't know what they were. Machines, I would say, where if it was dark at night, let's say, and there wasn't too much light, let's say someone was down the river, let's say Izzy was down the river, which she most of the time was, and he would yell up. So I would be at that thing, at that machine, holding and take it up.
The logs,
But
taking the logs
by
out.
mistake, that person that didn't have to me, thank God, instead of doing up, instead of put it down, he pushed it up, and the man got trapped in between the logs, and he was crippled for life. This was one incident, and then was one other, but there was no other fatalities, really.
Did people get sick because of the cold?
No, that's the amazing thing. Nobody got sick.
The germs were frozen.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You said that Dad was downriver. When did you run into Dad? When did you meet him?
Oh, I didn't meet Dad till Asia. See, I didn't, I knew of him. I heard the name because he was the best worker there is. But I didn't meet him.
He was there, but you didn't meet him.
No, there was 450 people.
Okay.
So it wasn't easy just to meet just anybody, and you couldn't go around and say, no.
So you met him after you left Siberia. When you were in Siberia, what was your job besides the up and down? What else did you have to do there?
Oh, we had the saw. Then we picked up the logs. And they put him pretty as close as they could to the river. Because they had to cut him up by hand and put him near the river for the other ship to come and pick him up as fuel.
Oh, it was to fuel a ship.
Where did the log come from? They came off the train?
The logs, they were cut up by saw. One on one side, one on the other.
But where was the trees when they came from?
And they came, they were
They were
coming
just
all
floating down the
along.
river, and then it got to you. And then
Yeah.
you cut them up, and then you put them on
By
something
the river, yeah, for the other boat to come
and pick them
and
up.
pick it up.
Did everybody work? All 450 people had to work?
No, they didn't all work because some people couldn't work and some people were older, so they wouldn't make them work. And some people, actually there were no sick people, really. It was amazing.
What's interesting is that while you were doing that in Siberia, they were doing that here. They used to float logs down the Hudson River and down the Delaware River, and they
Really?
used to do exactly what you did, but it was a little bit warmer.
Yeah. And plus they
Not
got...
by hand,
Yeah, I think by hand.
really?
There weren't any tools, but...
Yeah.
Well, so you were doing this, Grandma, was your job, but you didn't get paid for it, right? I mean, it wasn't like that you were hired to work. So there was a work camp where you were forced to work.
But it could have saved her life because she wasn't in a German camp.
That's the only thing.
So did the Russians take you away to keep you safe in Siberia, or did they just
No,
take
the
advantage?
Russian didn't take us to save us, no.
They took advantage of you running away and
Yeah.
forced you to work.
And they told us you'll never get out of there. Because once you get in Siberia, you don't get out.
Nobody's gonna
And that
get
was the
you.
truth.
Did you think that was true?
Yeah, it was true.
So how did you get out?
The reason we got out is because they had made a pact between Poland and Russia. And the guy's name was General Sikorski. And for what kind of exchange they made, I don't know. But after that, they let us free.
And
This
how
was
did you
after-
get out of there? By train?
Mhm.
And they
No,
took
we
you.
went out by boat. You
Uh,
can't go by train there.
Where did you go to?
So we decided, I mean, we didn't have much of a choice, but we know we want to get out of there as quick as possible. So we figured because of us so very cold, we'll go where it's warm. So we decided if possible, we can go to Asia, which is nice and warm. Well, it wasn't the best decision.
Southern France would have been a better idea.
Much better. So we got out of there.
Oh wait, you were there for 2.5 years though, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this camp, thinking that you would never get out until this guy made this pact.
Absolutely. In fact, we made a little garden because they told us you'll never get out. And a lot of people grew some, because summer is only 2 months there. Some grew potatoes, carrots, onions, things like. So when we heard we freed, well, it was a big, big deal. And we did. So we got to Asia. And this is where I met my sister-in-law.
When you say when you say Asia, what do you mean? What country was it? Was it China?
No,
Was Russia still? Was still
part of
Russia?
Russia, but the other side, where it was nice and warm. The other one was,
Because Russia's in both continents, right?
Mm-hmm. That's big. Well, Grandma, when you were at the camp for 2.5 years, that was your sort of your home, right? And you thought you were going to be there forever. So, did it become like a home?
it was never like a home, but we figured, well, this is it. What can you do?
So, did
You're
you
not
ever?
going to be killed.
Yeah. Did you end up making friends with people?
With one girl, which years later I met in Israel in '68. But she looked so different.
What was her name?
Her name was Sabrina, I think.
So 2.5 years, and really you only had one person that you were.
Yeah, we were very close. In fact, we slept in the same bed because she was assigned to my room. See, the room was big, and you needed, besides that family, you needed more people. So there was another man, which he lived all day long. He lived with a woman and a daughter. And he was a tailor. So that's a good profession in Russia. Because they always want things to be fixed for the mechanics, for their wives, for who the hell knows. So he slept in our room too. But he came late and got up very early because I guess that was the hours.
Well, that was the
But-
original building. When you got there and you went to the camp, you were in this big building. But then did you eventually get into your own different building?
No.
You were still in this building for
This
2.5
was it.
years, and you had a room that you had to share with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And they fed you? Did you get 2 meals a day?
No.
No?
They fed, they fed us according to the work, actually. If, let's say, we cut 5 trees, so we got a little bit more. Another piece of bread.
What was the food?
Yeah.
What did they feed you, Grandma?
Oh, so little, so little. Mostly fish soup. Because I
Some
guess
water.
they caught a lot of fish, and they cooked it up, and that's what they fed us.
And bread? You had bread?
And then, yeah, a piece of bread, yeah.
You ever have milk?
No milk.
Coffee?
No.
Tea?
No.
Just water?
Water. On occasion, on a Sunday, we would have a little bit ice cream.
Wow.
It wasn't exactly ice cream either, but they were called marozhana. It was frozen, I don't know what, but it was good.
Now, how did you know what day it was? How did you know what month it was? How did you know
I
how
didn't
long
know.
you were there?
I didn't know. Unless I didn't have a watch. But if you had a watch, at least you knew the time.
How did you know what your job? How did you know what your job was? What you were supposed to do?
Oh, they told you, right?
And did you
Yeah.
did you do that same job for the whole 2.5 years?
No. I was cutting. I was putting the cutted wood on a truck with another woman and a guy. And in fact, one of the guys was Dad's best friend from home yet. But he happened to wound up also in that camp.
Hmm.
And he was the laziest guy I beat. He had 2 girls. Imagine me. I was like 93 pounds. And the other girl was heavy. She was really hefty. And she could work. So I figured, let her work. I mean, I did as much as I could. And, but we became very good friends. And I did go to see her in Israel. And she looked so different. My God.
She looked older, you mean?
Hmm?
She looked older or better?
Better.
Oh.
A million times better.
How did you find her in Israel after all those years?
Oh my God. You'll find anybody in Israel.
Yeah. When's the last time you heard from her?
I was in touch with her only. I study. No. But when I was there, I made sure that I went to see her. She had a family. She lived in a nice house. She was so glad to see me. She had lost weight. See, in Russia, it was 2.5 years, and she was had hair growing in, like
Mustache.
like some women do. Here you have the what are you called?
Yeah.
In Siberia you don't have it, but in Israel you do. So she took care of that.
How did she get there, do you know?
To Israel?
She left with you?
Yeah, she left in the same boat.
So when you got liberated, or whatever the term is there, everybody went?
Sure.
And that
Why
whole
wouldn't
time
you
you were
go?
there,
You
Right.
were happy to go.
I know.
yeah, right. Grandma, that whole time you were there, Grandpa was there in that same camp.
Yeah,
In your same building or a different building?
a different entirely building.
And you never met him or ran into him at
No.
all? That whole 2.5 years?
No,
And where did you run into him? In Asia?
our nation. Yeah.
Like, where? Not in a nightclub?
No. Yeah. Um, it happens to be in a better place in Russia than a nightclub. He worked in a bakery,
Oh boy.
and and my brother used to go in. You couldn't just go in and buy, And he went in, and he was a talker. And he would say, where are you from, blah, blah, blah. And he says, I'm just from Siberia, not long ago. Oh, he says, I had a sister in Siberia. And he says, oh, what was her name? And he told her, I guess he knew my name. And they got to talking, and I don't know what he bought or he didn't buy. He did buy because he came to the house and he brought rolls and a piece of bread, which was like heaven.
Piece of bread.
Yeah. And that's how they met in that town.
So when you left Siberia and you went to Asia, another part of Russia, you went to some kind of town.
Tashkent.
What's it called?
I went to a big city, Tashkent.
To live
It's
there,
one word.
right? Were you going to live there?
I don't know. Did I have a place to live?
Did you plan on going back to Poland? Was that your plan?
No. No, not really.
Because the war was over then, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why didn't you want to go
Actually, I
back?
did go back to Poland because now I'm getting into a story that I hate.
Well, how did she get to the place where she was?
Yeah, Grandma, when you left when you were liberated from the camp, and you all decided, so all 450 people left. Some people
On a
went some
boat.
one direction, some people went another direction on a boat. You decided to go to Asia because it was warmer, right? And how many people went there? All 450?
No, I don't know how many, but not all 15, 415, no.
Were you with a group of people that made that decision to go there?
Yeah.
So Grandpa was part of that group too, right?
We got actually married in Asia.
After you got off the boat and you met him in the bakery, and after
Yeah.
that you started dating or whatever.
Yeah, he used to come around, you know, every once in a while.
Take it slow.
And he, you know, would bring some bread and some rolls, and he would tell a story or sing a song. He used to sing very nice when he was younger.
He had plenty of stories.
And plenty of stories. And a very sick baby.
He had a very sick baby, Grandpa?
My daughter-in-law, my sister-in-law.
Oh.
So she had that baby and died. And then she had another one and it died.
What was it like when you got off the boat? When you took the boat from Siberia to Asia, what was it like when you got off the boat? What happened?
When we got off the boat, we came to a big city, Tashkent, like that.
Mhm.
And nobody greeted us. We just got off there.
No money,
No money.
no directions,
No, nothing.
nobody to show you where to go.
Nothing, absolutely nothing.
So where did you go?
Well, with other people, we just went.
Like,
There was no directions there. They,
I mean-
they didn't stay in the corner and tell you you go here and you go there, no.
but where did you end up going? To somebody's
Well, I
house?
stayed in Tashkent, no.
Slept
I
on
didn't
the
have
street?
where to go. Was in Tashkent. What happened was a bad time because was typhus broke out. And people were dying like flies. So we had to get out of there.
So how long were you there?
Not long.
Like days, a month?
A few days. And then we went to, we were looking for a farm where some that grows. So we'd have maybe a peach, maybe a grape, maybe a pear, maybe something. Pears you didn't see there. But plums you did. Peaches you did. Cotton you did. So we used to go, after we got off the boat, I met two of my cousins, girls, which were in Tashkent from before. They were not in Siberia. And so we stuck together. And we were going from place to place looking for something to eat.
You walking?
Hmm?
You were just walking?
Sure, what else?
Were you walking on a road or walking through the woods, or how were you walking?
And the road, and then there are no roads like here, no roads like in a normal town, but there were roads.
And you were just sleeping outside?
Uh-huh. We were sleeping in doorways, actually.
Were you planning on staying there in Tashkent?
No. Not with all the people being so sick, no.
So how many people were with your group where you were walking around looking for a farm?
There were my 2 cousins that I met there. And one cousin I lost from typhus. And I didn't get typhus, but I got malaria, which is almost as bad, but you don't die from it. Although you could, but sometimes you don't. And this woman, I was pretty sick with malaria. The nurse, supposedly, she noticed that I'm breathing. And she says, let's take her upstairs. And they did.
In a hospital?
Mm-hmm. Some kind of sort of a hospital. And I don't know what she gave me. They didn't have medication. But she gave me something that helped me. Then she gave me a little water, and I drank. Anyway, I got out of there. And then we went again looking for a place. And we found a place where they grew. First we found a place where they grew cotton. Terrible. To pick cotton is terrible. Because your hands bleed, because it's a very, it's tough.
Prickly.
We had no gloves. So, but we didn't stay long.
Well, so wait, there was a cotton farm, there was a farmer, right? So
Mhm.
there was a farmer that ran the cotton farm. And
There was more than one.
did you ask the farmer for a job? You were picking cotton to make money, or were just for a place to live?
Yeah, well, when you get there, you ask for something, Could I, find something to do or something to eat? And, some would say yes and some would say no.
So then you moved on from there to what?
To another farm. And this was a nicer farm because it had peaches, and it had grapes, and I didn't have apples. In fact, I didn't see any apples.
Could you sleep inside at the farms? Did you get to sleep inside at the farms?
Not in a house. They didn't have houses. They have shacks. They don't have houses like on the farms. In fact, there are farms where people sleep outside, cook outside. This is their life. They live outside. They don't live in a house or a shack or whatever you call it. It's just, this is their way of life. What we didn't know is that if they ask you to join to eat, and if you refuse, they're very mad. So we learned this very fast. and next time if someone would ask, we said sure.
And what did they eat there? What kind of food did they eat?
I don't know, their own food. They very spicy, terribly spicy food. They bake their own. This wasn't even bread. In fact, they sell them in ShopRite. It's a big, like a matzah, but it's round.
Oh, really? But any food was better than no food.
Sure.
And did you have things to drink there? Did you have tea or anything like that?
No, no tea. You didn't have where to cook the tea. But we did drink, I don't know what kind of drink it was, really. But we didn't start to that.
Do you know the name of the town where the farm was?
It was out of the big town. It was out of Tashkent, out of Samarkand. We had to get away from the big cities.
Because of the
Because
sickness.
there's,
What year was it when you were there?
uh, 39, 41, 42, 43.
Did you ever get a chance to read a newspaper? Did anybody know what was going on with the war or going on back in Poland?
Not on the farm.
So you had been away from home for 4 years.
Mhm.
And could you send a letter home or contact your family?
No.
Why not?
Who will I send it to?
So you-
Your home address.
To
You
who
didn't-
would I write?
You didn't know who was still there, right?
No, I knew nobody was there.
How did you know that?
Because we knew that they taken everybody.
When did you find that out?
Well, right after I left, they started evacuating.
Right, but when you were in Siberia in the camp, and when you were in Asia, did people talk about what was happening in Poland? So how did you know? You just thought that
We knew it because we knew this is what's going on. But nobody told us.
well, but you were still young. I mean, right? So and you had never been through a war. So how would you know what the war was going to be like? That they were going to evacuate people? Where were they going to put people? What did you think was happening to your family?
I didn't know what's going to happen to them, but I knew that nothing good is going to happen because the Germans came in. And we knew that if they came in, things are not going to be good.
So you knew that your family, if you wrote a letter to your house, your family would not be there to get the letter.
No.
Where did you think they were?
I don't know where they would be, but I knew they wouldn't be there.
Did you think that they had escaped or that they had been imprisoned? So you had no idea.
I don't think people tried to escape, because if they tried, they would be killed.
So in 1943, when you were in Asia, did you think that your family was alive? In Poland?
I hoped, but I didn't know. How would I know?
There was no way of knowing.
How did you know that the Germans were bad? How did you know that the Germans were not doing anything good there?
Oh, this was, oh my God. This was going on in Germany since I left 39, since 37. They had the Crystal Night, which was in Germany, which an awful lot of Jews got killed.
Crystal nuts.
So we knew that it's no good. And we knew if they're going to move on further and they're going to come to Poland, the same thing will happen. I mean, you don't have to, be a genius to figure that out.
So you knew when you left your father and your mother and your brothers and sisters that you probably wouldn't see them again because of the Germans coming. But they stayed anyway. Did they know that this
Who
was going to...
stayed?
Your family stayed in Poland.
Oh,
They didn't run.
when?
When your father told you to run, and you ran,
Yeah.
everybody else stayed.
No, well, everybody else was picked up later.
Right, but they knew that the Germans were coming, but they didn't try to run.
The Germans were already in, not fully,
Yeah.
but they were in.
I think what he's trying to say is, you left Poland, but they didn't.
Yes,
What?
they did.
But they didn't go with you. You went separate.
No.
Why
Where did they go?
They went, I guess, with the Germans
Why didn't they run? Why
Yeah.
didn't they try to get out of the town?
because they all had families and with little kids. You can't run with little kids. And I guess some people have hope and think maybe, things have changed. I don't know people's mind, but you
The
know,
people, so the people that stayed, they did not expect the Nazis to come in and
no.
capture everybody.
They must have had an idea. Yes, yes. Because after what happened in Germany, yes, they did.
So they just took their chances by staying?
Well, they picked them up anyway.
I think she's saying that they felt like moms and dads felt that they couldn't get away with their whole kids and everything. They felt they were trapped, right?
Right. They,
They didn't want to get split up.
They felt that they were trapped.
they knew things are no good. And they knew that they're not going to stay in their place, in the house, that they're going to be taken out. And after I left, I don't know what happened, but I guess everybody left. They took everybody.
They went to concentration camps. Do you think the people knew that they would be killed?
I don't know what they were thinking. They probably were thinking better things, but I think they know.
Did you think, when you thought about your family behind in Poland, did you think that they would be taken and killed?
Yeah. I know.
So is that why, when you were set free from the prison,